All right, we are back with the follow up, as I mentioned earlier, the branch out. That's what I'm gonna call this segment. I'll try. Last one was like 15 minutes. I wanted it to be 10 minutes. If you watch it, and hopefully you told me what you thought down in the comments. I appreciate you guys tuning in. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say thanks. Remember, I'm trying to like give some advice, I guess you can say, some tips and tricks if you call it that, or if you don't call it that, whatever. But to new casters, because a year in, I still consider myself a new caster. Like I'm fresh out the gate, untainted, right, by anything. Just in my opinion, this is all my opinion. This is all my experience. Hopefully, I can tell you some stuff, and it helps out. It helps out. So let's go into the branch out. I believe we left off. Now I filmed yesterday. This is day number 2. I'm uncomfortable. Usually, my content's like talking about other people, asking other people to talk about themselves. So, kind of talking about myself. I'm not too sure if I'm crazy about it. I'll see what you guys say, and the feedback, and then I'll decide if I want to continue kind of documenting the milestones in my casting career. I mean, if anything, that's what a document. Documenting progression. So let's keep this going. So the branch out. Let's see. So now I believe we are in November. And I made mention in the last video loyalty. As of like, since remember I'm new, right? I'm new, so every day I'm learning. But loyalty is tricky because when I first came in, I was with PUBGonline. I loved everybody there. Everybody was super nice. And remember, I made mention that around this time in November, these other online tournaments started to pop up, started to build up, and I started seeing like the casters that I worked with in PUBGonline or that worked there, started seeing them in those other leagues. And as somebody that was brand new to this, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because I didn't understand the concept as a freelancer. This was my first time doing freelance work, and I just didn't understand it until around November. I believe things started slowing down with PUBGonline, and like I said, I started seeing all these other casters that I kind of worked around, might not be casting with, but worked around with, and they started going to Auzom, to GLL, and to all these other cool things, and I just wanted to be part of it. Remember, I'm invested in the scene. I love the scene, and I wanted to help it grow. At the same time, I'm still making the interviews with the players. So this whole time, I've been doing that on the side, just trying to get as much knowledge as possible. Try to branch out, right? That's what I'm going to call it, branching out. So in November, I reached out. I'm not going to call it spam. This isn't really spam. Last episode, I call it spam. I reached out to Kevin from Auzom. Well, first of all, I joined the Discord and I found out who do I gotta talk to, and you gotta remember these people are extremely busy. Running their own business, managing other talent, all that good stuff. So this is just the message I found that I first sent him. Yeah, in November. Happy holidays. I guess that was around Thanksgiving for us. And yeah, their Nations Cup was coming up. That was me at the time. That was my credentials. 250 plus hours on PUBG analyst desk and player relationships within the PUBG community. Yeah, that was me. So obviously this is the same message that I just kind of pasted here just so you guys can see it. But I didn't get a response, right? I didn't get a response. And like I said, it's understandable. I didn't get a response. It was about a week goes by, then I get a response. And the keyword, last episode, I'm going to try not to rant on so much. Last episode, the keyword was availability and was it determination? I don't think so. Dedicated. This episode, persistent. And by persistent, I mean I reached out. I didn't hear nothing, but I followed up. Like, hey, how's it going? just want to reach out on our previous conversation. Even though we haven't had a conversation yet, in my mind, I had a conversation because I reached out to you and I opened up the conversation. And at the time as well, my mindset was like, this is all on the internet. It's all online. I really don't lose anything. If they want to message me back and be like, yo, dude, screw off, get on my DMs, then that's what they want to do. And at least I tried, right? At least I tried to reach out and extend my hand and grab what I wanted to do. Would I do that now? Would I just reach out to somebody? Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, 1 year down the road, I still have the same mindset. It's the internet. If they want to talk to me after I reach out to them, then they'll talk to me. If they don't want to talk to me, then okay. Hey, no foul, no harm, I think is how the saying goes. So this episode, persistent. So I reached out, didn't hear nothing, but a week later, I'm like, hey, I'm still interested. Anything I can do. I believe still nothing. Radio silence. But then, let's see in my notes here. I got a DM from them that they needed somebody, and that it's kind of the same thing for all my stories that I'm gonna have. It's like the same thing happened. Like they just happened to need somebody at that time, and I was available. They say, hey, yeah, we know who you are. Are you available December 5th? And I'm like, yeah, I'm available. I made myself available at the time. Even if I had like a family dinner or something to go to, or hanging out with my friends, I would cancel, and I was known to cancel a lot. And like I said last episode, I didn't lose a couple of friends, but definitely stopped hanging out with some friends and they didn't understand, but I just always wanted to be available. And I know it sounds silly, making sacrifices by hanging out with friends, but I don't know. I like hanging out. But okay, so that was my story for Auzom. They reached out. They needed somebody. I was there. I was the man. And then it just started from there. I started casting, I believe, their secondary lobbies a lot. And also, I started getting down and dirty with some spectating. So let's see. I'm trying to just look at the timeline. So we're a little past November now. We're into December, January, whatnot. I start branching out some more, right? So remember I made mention about the big three at the time. It was PUBGonline, Auzom, GLL. I'm with two of them. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. And I start reaching out to more people, like I just said. I find out who's running events. I'm always watching the Twitch and seeing what these events are, because I want to gain that experience. So I start casting and doing desks for uproar.gg. RIP, they're not around no more, but they had these 3-man desks that were extremely fun. I got to work with some very talented people. Not a lot of people watch these, by the way, which was understandable because you had the big three going on, and then these little companies that were trying to get involved in the scene. So Uproar, it was fun. Then I started doing some spectating and casting for Cyberpower PC. They're going to have a LAN here soon, so that should be fun. Trick2G, he had a championship type of thing for PUBG. ESU, Esports Underground, casted a couple times. They're picking up their new season now. Tag Esports, I know I'm naming a lot of things. I even spectated and casted some PGI EU qualifiers. Like, I just would keep my ear to the street, see what's going on, and try to get involved, just so I can get that experience. And it was me. I felt like being persistent, just trying to soak up as much as possible. And I did just that. That PGI qual. So I remember it was like the first day I did it was like a best of 3. So I was like by myself, casting, observing, best of 3. Okay. And then a week later, I signed up for it, and if I might be mistaken here, but it was like a best of 5 or a best of 6, and I was like, what the F is this? Like, if you're a caster and you're watching this, solo casting 6 games, I mean, my voice was, it's not only your voice, it's your energy level. Like, it's just like depleted by game 5. It's not there. Because these games at the time were long. They're like 30 to 45 minutes. But, I did it. I did it. I drank my wheatgrass. I know a lot of people think I joke about that, but I don't. I'm really drinking wheatgrass. So that's then. And then I guess around March, I kind of conjured up the courage to try to get involved with the other online tournament. So I messaged Simon, sent him out those initial messages. At the time, I had more experience now, so I had even more with all these events that I just named: Auzom, PUBGonline, and another. It happened again. I didn't hear nothing, and this one was about a month. Every week, I would just say, "Hey, I'm still interested. And there you go, persistent, and just let them know I like what you're doing. The production every week always improving. I would just send out cold calls. I guess that's what it's called. If you're from the 90s, they probably don't do that no more. Cold calls is when the telemarketers would just get your number and just call you to try to get your attention. So I was sending out these cold calls and updating them on my availability. Like, hey, Simon, I'm ready to go. I see you're doing an event this Saturday. I'm available. And then once again, just like PUBGonline, just like Auzom, I get a message. Hey, yo, Dave, we know who you are. Are you available for this day? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm available. And and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to cast. And then I remember this message. My first conversation with Simon, he's like, well, don't you want a solo Mustache Dave cast? And I'm like, what? Like, what the heck is this guy talking about? He wanted me to stream, observe, and cast a lobby because they were doing like 4 lobbies a day. And I was like nervous. This is my first time working for GLL. This is like the last of the big 3, so I wanted to make a good impression. And I was uncomfortable, like I said, because I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to mess up, but I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I was available. I was ready to go, and I did it. And then after that, that was that. I did a couple of those. I casted a couple of their main lobbies here and there. Just whenever they had time slots that I could do, I would make sure to fill it on up. So along the way, I got to cast with a bunch of casters, got to know casters' personalities. I learned a lot. And this is like 10 months in. So now I'm like 10 months deep. I got experience. Last video I mentioned a lot of this was volunteer work. Surprisingly enough, a lot of what I was doing was volunteer work. So people still, I was always on the computer, chatting away, having a good old time, making online friends and connections with the players and the casters and production and all that stuff. But the people that knew me in the real world, I guess you could say, IRL, still didn't understand. Because the first question, people would be like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm caster for PUBG. And they're like, what's PUBG? I'll tell them, oh, it's online battle royale. And they're like, oh, you get paid. Like, that was always their question. You get paid. I'm like, bitch, like, sorry for cursing, but I'm just like thinking like, dude, I don't ask you like how much you get paid. Do you get paid? But yeah, I mean, I was just having fun. So that's about that. So that was Operation Branch Out. I was involved with the 3 major leagues, and yeah. And then my next video, so I'm gonna do one more to wrap up my year, because remember, I'm at the end here. I'm at the end of the year since I started all the way back, and then I got the call. I got the big call, because I mean, really, let's be real here. I was doing all these online things, but I wanted to go to a live event. Like, that was always the goal. I wanted to make it to an online event. So that's gonna be my next video. I'm just gonna be kind of talking about my experience there, and whether or not, like, looking back on the year, if it was worth or not. I mean, obviously it's worth, but yeah, just my experience with that. So make sure, if you are interested in my story, I don't even know if this one, I know the first video was a little more informative. This one, not so much, besides the fact that I said persistent a couple of times, and I guess I made mention of cold calling and just, letting them know your availability. Like, don't get discouraged if people don't DM you back right away, or even a week or two later. Like, don't get discouraged, because they're gonna need you. Like, eventually they're gonna need you. People get busy, and being available, you're gonna have your break. So just don't give up. And I know that's like cliche. I remember being in middle school and seeing all those posters with like the cat hanging on a tree. It's like, don't, just hang in there, don't give up. I know I sound like that, but it's the truth. So that's gonna be this video. I'm gonna make one more. It's gonna be around 15 minutes. Probably film it tomorrow, and I'm just gonna talk about my experience, about my first LAN. I mean, that's me in a nutshell from the past year. So you got the early days, you got the branch out, the big move, I guess you can say, where I started realizing, like, yo, I need to get out there. I need to make myself known to the community, because I with PUBGonline, I was only with the NA community as well. So, and at the same time, remember, I was doing the after hours show. I started doing the PUBcast, and more content. I even managed to wiggle my way into some Fortnite content as well. Just branching out. That's my point. Just branching out. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think below. Let me know if my rant helped you at all, or if it gave you any type of insight on the life of a caster or Mustache Dave release. So, I'll see you in the next video.